Hello, welcome back to another edition of the Sports Medicine Moment. My name is Phillip Adler. I'm a certified athletic trainer and manager of the sports medicine program for the Spectrum Health Medical Group. Today we're going to talk about heat illness, and although in Michigan it's not been extraordinarily warm and it's been a rather cool summer, we do know that there are some hot days upon us, and it never fails in football. There are some Indian summer days upon us where we'll probably touch the high 80s and 90s, and if it goes cool for a while and then it heats back up, we do run the risk of some heat problems. And so I want to talk a little bit today about the different parts of heat illness and some things to think about in terms of heat awareness. Typically in athletic training, we've used the old sling psychrometers where you wet a string and then you swing this bulb around in the air, and we get a reading of the actual humidity and temperature. Nowadays, we have these really cool apps, Weather Channel, Weather Bug, etc., which should give you a general idea of the heat index. What that app can't do is actually take a real reading on the field. And I know at Central Michigan, when we worked on the football field, particularly on the turf, we would take our digital thermometer, which also had a humidity indicator, and we put it about a foot off of the field, and would read about 10 to 15 degrees higher than the actual air humidity. So we have to keep our playing surfaces in context with the overall heat and humidity. And so knowing all of the information and having all your tools is going to be helpful because we have to look at the overall heat and humidity index when we think about playing. And so there are these great charts and things like that we can bring out and you guys can review, and coaches should be reviewing, and athletic trainers should be looking at, that gives us danger zones, that gives us the appropriate times when we should play. They're very self-explanatory, easy to understand. Essentially, if you're in the red, we should be reevaluating practice. We should be reevaluating game situations, taking extra breaks, taking extra water breaks, opportunities to cool down, maybe changing if it's a football practice instead of a full padded practice. Maybe we'll go in helmets and just shoulder pads, or maybe we'll just go helmets to allow the body to breathe a little bit more. We do know that in football, there's a lot of heat that's trapped by the football pads. And then the helmet retains heat in the head. And with all that retention, you can end up with things like heat cramps or heat illness. And essentially the body's losing moisture. It's losing things such as salt. So some people are considered salty sweaters. If you take a look at your body and your clothing after a hard workout, you have that white line that goes on your body. You could be considered a salty sweater. Then you may need to do a little bit more in terms of replenishing your sodium. So it may be something like a pretzels or what have you to increase that salt intake and replenish that. Other things to be aware of are heat exhaustion, heat stroke. Heat stroke is life-threatening. We need to cool the body. We might take some ice bags, put them under the arms, in the armpits, maybe up on the neck. We want to possibly do some cold water immersion to do anything we can do to cool the core body temperature and reduce that heat so we don't have the body's organs that start to fail.